Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Awake and Activate live call-in show. Like I said, we're going to try and do these every Wednesday night, sometimes maybe a little bit later. As the summer's rolling around, it's getting hotter, and anybody that knows my studio my husband is building me, this is kind of a work in progress, is in the garage, and it gets pretty hot out here. I do have an air conditioner out here. It's a little noisy. I hope it doesn't get on people's nerves too terribly much. But it was just, we had such a beautiful day today. It's just unbelievable. We're also waiting for Sagitarically speaking to rejoin me in the conference room. We're trying to bring him in through email instead of through phone call, so that way, we had him with us the last time that we did a live stream like this, and it was so much fun that I just had to have him back. So let me see what we got going on here. And okay, Saji, let me turn the mic on for desktop. And now they can hear you. So did you come in through the email?
Yeah, I had to get the app. Are you able to see me or just hear me?
I can see you, but I could see you before. It just came up with the phone number. Now I can actually see your icon and your name. Oh, I think I spelled your name wrong. I am so fired. Well, tonight we're going to share about dreams and visions, out-of-body experience, astral projection, and other topics. Vivid dreams, dreams that come true, symbolism in dreams. Just there's so much that goes on while we're sleeping, so much that comes through. And it's pretty amazing when that happens, and you get messages in your sleep, and connecting to the divine, connecting to Source, to God Almighty, whatever your flavor. There's no labels here. It's about you, your personal journey, and how you're walking it out. And we learn from each other, and we grow. So I'm of the belief that not everybody knows everything, but we each know something that we can share with one another, so we can help each other grow with this understanding and these gifts and abilities that we have within us. Saji, let me start by telling you that I don't know, did you have a chance to watch the post that I put up with the Shannon's testimony? But she was actually witnessing my journey since she was like between 7 and 9 years old. It started for me with leaving my body, having lucid dreams, and then walking them out in life. And when all this was going on and it first started, it scared the bejeebers out of me. And then, of course, you go to the doctor, it's night terrors, and they put me on a medication. But guess what? It didn't work. So what I would do is at the time, I was single with my 2 children, working full-time, one job, part-time bookkeeping at the bowling alley, and selling Avon. So I could do the bookkeeping job for the bowling alley and the Avon from home with my children, and so it could be interactive. And the other job full-time, basically while they were at school, and a couple hours after I would be home in time to cook them supper and things like that. Well, when this was all going on, it freaked me out. So I would get my daughter, and I would say, if I make any sound at all, wake me up. If I move, if I murmur, anything, I wanted her to wake me up. And she was pretty good about, waking me up, except for she was a pretty heavy sleeper. And I think what happened is she got more accustomed to sleeping in my bed. So when my husband came home for the weekends, she didn't want to leave. So, in 2012, I talk about a big uptick. And I actually, there's only one person other than somebody else I just shared this with a little while ago. I haven't shared this with anybody. So if you're here, you're going to get to hear this. If you're not, well, you missed it.
It was exclusive information, huh?
Yeah, this is pretty provocative and profound and scary. Well, when you have dreams where you see things that are going to transpire in the future and then you walk through them, you don't get to pick what you see. I hope this makes sense that, I'm not always going to see roses and sunshine. It's not always going to be peaches and cream. Okay? In 2012, I had a succession of dreams where
sometimes it's peaches and scream, huh?
Well, my child died. And
I know. I wasn't trying to make light of that.
Oh, no. You didn't know what I was even going to say, so I'm not holding that against you. But it was always two people, and they were surrounding her, and she was in the center as an innocent, and the elements were all there, but not always in the same order. I have the dream again, and I'll tell you, my husband will tell you, I was sending him over to check on my daughter all the time. I was just making stuff up to go over and see how she was doing and make sure she was okay. Oh, look, I brought you some groceries. Oh, it looks like you need cleaners. Oh, I'll be back tomorrow. I mean, I was just thinking of any and all, reasons to go over there and check on her. It wore me down so bad. It really put me on bent knee. I was repenting, I was fasting, I was praying, I was supplicating. It really tore me up because, you got to think about
how long before, like, was it 6 months, a year? Give me like an approximate. How long did this occur?
This was in 2012. The dreams and visions started in the year 2000, 2001. In 2001, I went and seen a doctor. And then he's like, oh, you got night terrors. Here, take this pill. The pill didn't work. I was still escaping from my body. I was going places, checking things out. I was having, I call them very, very vivid, lifelike dreams. And then those would come to pass. And then, of course, I would have the symbolic dreams, too, but you could kind of tell when it's a symbolic dream. And I had this going on, and pretty much 100%, I really should have been keeping a dream journal, but they frightened me so much, I really didn't want to. But then when I would walk through it, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I just dreamt about this, I should have been prepared. But it does kind of prepare you for making choices in life. Well, this one in 2012, it wasn't just one dream, I had it several times. So they say that, if you have it 2 or more times, it's fixed. Well, I wasn't having that. I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want to know that. So I, thought, well, maybe it's symbolism. Maybe she's going to do a life change, because by the time 2018 rolled around, I thought, okay, I don't have a perfect record. I get some right, I get some wrong. I'm human. We're all fallible. We all make mistakes. And then on April 26th, 2019, blam, she was gone in an instant by 2 people, 2 negligent people in a split second took my daughter. So, in 2012, I'm telling you, Saggy, I I was having a nervous breakdown. It was that real, and from what I had been through since 2010, 2000, I mean, it's not 2010, 2000, 2001, and the experiences that I had, that I was scared to death. I mean, my husband knew I was frightened, and he was the only person I told. Now, my children knew that I would have dreams. I would tell them about them all the time, and then when we would walk through them, they'd be like, Mom, you dreamt about this. Look, look what we're doing. You know, it's happening. Or, you know, a windfall of money, and it comes from we don't know where, and somebody's knocking on my door, handing me a check, and they're like, you had a dream about that. Da, 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 da. Oh my gosh, I bet she didn't expect that. This is cool, you know. But I didn't tell nobody about that one. But I'll tell you, my mom definitely, and my dad came up here and had to pick me up because I was so out of sorts and so brokenhearted. I couldn't think straight. I couldn't cope. And you couldn't convince me. He couldn't convince me that she was okay. So there was no convincing me. So I basically, you know, went through that trauma then. So I guess when it happened in 2019, it was traumatic. Don't get me wrong, my heart's broken. But I was able to take care of business. I was able to get the funeral arranged. I was able to do what I needed to do. But I don't know if it would have happened in 2012, right after I had the dream. You know, usually it's a couple weeks, maybe a month, maybe. Well, with the Trump thing, that was 2 years. But, you know, for 7 years to go by, I really thought I was in the clear. I really did. You know,
it's funny that you say that. I wanted to interject if I could.
Yes.
First of all, I wanted to tell you I am sorry for your loss. I can only imagine the feeling of losing a child. The closest thing I really can, as far as relating to that, is when I think about my mom passing not too long ago, about 3 years ago. She passed right before Christmas. And I remember even then, when she passed, you know, how much of how abruptly that changed things for me, and a lot, you know, just my whole approach toward life. For it to have been a child, it just seems like it would be, when I think of especially when I think of my daughters and losing one of them, I don't even know how that I can relate psychologically, because it's not one of those things you can put yourself in that position unless you're actually in that position. In my mind, that's the way I feel that probably is. I can maybe sort of kind of try to think I'm imagining how it would feel, but I know my mind, and you know, doesn't even really let me have those feelings because of how devastating it would actually be. So I really am sorry for your loss.
Well, you know, I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna be okay. I need to be strong for my son. I mean, I need to, because he's not handling it well now. I've only shared this dream, like I said, with my husband, and I just now, a few minutes ago, shared it with somebody that has been a confidant, a friend, a good friend, a non-judgmental, a very understanding, one who also knows that, you know, there is the gifts, we have the abilities, there is this phenomena, the Mandela effect, these things are happening around us. So he didn't judge me on it. He didn't, you know, he showed compassion. So that, you know, I was like, well, I was going to put it with the post earlier on the sky images that were captured in the 2018 posts that I did. I did little clips from several of the 2018 testimony or teaching or, you know, whatever I was doing, clips that I did in my backyard. And as I was speaking, like the sky would vibrate. It would change. It would be like a blue sky and then turn completely white while I was speaking. And when I talked about love, unconditional love, forgiveness, the gifts within us all, the skies were reacting to it. It was pretty amazing. Somebody else about a year ago caught that when I was trying to bring some of the older posts up, because people forget about the older posts. They only look at the newest, latest. But that doesn't mean the message isn't good, right? So,
Oh, yeah, for sure. So often when you're approaching your day, it's the outlook that you approach your day with is what you is what you experience when you start to explore. If your outlook is hazy, everything's going to seem hazy. If you're clear and aware of your surroundings and ready to take it in and absorb everything the day has to offer, you have a lot more potential to shape the day in any way, shape, or form you so choose.
even with 7 years preparation, I still had, which you know this, 4 months that I was just a fog. I mean, I know I made videos and stuff, but that was my escape. That was the only, I could focus on the videos and the message, but everything else in a day to day, you know, type activity, that was just robotic. It was like, it wasn't even important. It didn't even, it was all just a fog, just a haze. Now, if it would have
And
happened,
the conditioned response to keep you from experiencing emotional grief. I mean, that's what I'm interpreting it as. I'm not sure if I'm right, but in that particular instance. It sounds like it's kind of a buffer, just to kind of, like kind of
yeah,
like an oven mitt. When you're working around an oven, you can still feel things, but not as clearly as you can without the oven mitt on.
right. And, this gift opened up, you know, almost 2 decades ago for me. So I know what we have within us. I know it is there. It's listed in the scriptures. It's listed in other holy books. We were all born after the risen Christ. If we want to say, okay, we're Christian. What I don't like about saying I'm Christian is there's 35,000 denominations of it. So I don't like to peg myself on a doctrine. But I don't mind saying that I follow Christ. And
Okay.
when I went on bended knee in 2012 after having these dreams, it was Christ I was crying out to. I mean, oh my goodness, it was Christ I was crying out to. And hey, I did not take it well. And that was just a dream. But I had already had, like I said, 12 years of experience with this, knowing that what happens, especially when I have a consecutive dream, what happens.
Now, now that it's all over, and that now that
Yeah.
you know what you know now today, are you thankful that you had that then at the time? Would you have rather it been the way that it went, like
No.
as far as
Yeah.
you knowing ahead
Yes.
of time, or would you have rather just had like an ignorance is bliss all of that time?
Actually, I would have rather had the ignorance is bliss, but I have to think about my son. What's good for him? A mom that's, having to go and be committed because she's lost her marbles because she's so grief
Yeah.
stricken that she can't function. It didn't stop the dreams, it didn't stop the visions, didn't stop the out of body experiences. None of that stuff stopped. It amplified it. So when I was tore up, repenting and going, through that in 2012, the gifts all amplified. Is like, the more worried about it that I got, the more amplified and the gifts became. So all I have to say is, I thank goodness for my friend that I shared it with earlier, whom I trust dearly. And it's time. It is time for, people to speak up about things we see, Even if it's not what we want to see, it's not always going to be. And share it, because, it could have been just what you said, Sachi. It could have been a time period. I got a grace period. I got 7 years extra with her to get my house in order, to get my heart in a place that it was going to be impacted and definitely affected and crushed as it was. But I had the ability to go with my son and fight for his daughter and the things that, he's got the loss of his sister, and he's dealing with an ex that's trying to withhold his child. So there's other things that he needs me to be strong for him. I don't have, it's not like I lost all my children. I still have a surviving child, and he needs me, and I need to be
I
there
would
for him.
say, it's one of those things where it's not easy for people to show that kind of that to share that out loud, to put that out there, even though it was something, that's a real, something so personal and so profound, like you said. So the fact that you're even sharing it with us, it makes me feel, privileged, and to a certain degree, and also it makes me want to go ahead and share the fact that I had something similar occur, in the sense that it really wasn't a dream, except for it was just like that imminent feeling. Like for about 2 years before my mom passed away, I just had a feeling. I just knew it wasn't because she was in poor health, or that I knew something in particular was, coming along, but I just had a feeling that her days were numbered, and that I needed to spend as much quality time with her as I could. I
Yeah.
needed to make sure that I was at peace with my mom, and when even days before she passed, I would wake up and feeling, I wonder, like anxious to get up and go find where she was, and see her, to make sure she was still alive, because it just felt like it was that, I could just feel how close it was. And then, lo and behold, within a week after even having days like that, once I started having days like that, I woke up, and that's when I found her, and she had passed away. But when I found her and I knew what had happened, I really was like, I had a form of, it's not that it didn't bother me, or I didn't feel the emotions that you would normally feel, but I was already kind of psychologically prepared for it, because I had been dealing with the that emotion already for, at least months before it even happened, as if it was already happening, because my mind just kind of knew it was about to. I don't know how else to explain it, as to that it actually worked. It made the exact moment not quite as devastating, had it would have as it would have been otherwise. I know I'm probably not really explaining it right, but
No, you
that was my
are.
best.
That happened with my husband when we were still in Oklahoma. His mom, who, she acted, healthy and happy even when she felt her worst. But she was going through treatments of cancer. And I told him, I said, you need to go see your mom. You need to go. You need to go spend some time with your mom. And he's like, I can't get the time off work. I don't have time to drive all the way down there and be back. He was working 16-hour days and then driving hour and a half each way. So he was exhausted, and he only had weekends off, and he worked nights. I said, no, 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 no. You need to go take the time off and go see your mom. Well, she passed away. He did not get to go and say his goodbyes. And he regretted that. Now, when we lived out here, I told him, and he wasn't as close with his father as he was his mother. But I told him, I said, honey, you need to go see your dad. You need to go now. Schedule a trip. Let's go. We're going to Oklahoma. We need to go. He didn't even hesitate, Saji. He's like, oh, okay, how fast do I need to go? What do I need to do? I said, you call work and find out as soon as possible that you can get off work. We need at least 2 weeks because, at that time my back was super bad, so we could only drive so far. But we needed the few days to drive there. I think 3 days to drive there, 3 days to drive back, and we spent, I think, 5 solid days in the hotel by the nursing home where his father was, and we took him out to eat, and he was already kind of out of it at that point, but at least Joe got to have a conversation because his mind was thinking, okay, he just couldn't get it out of his mouth. So then when we came back home after spending 5 days with his dad, it was a month later he had passed. So, I told him that with his mom, and he's like, I can't. But then when I told him with his dad, he's like, how fast do I need to get there? So, it's like with these, we all have these different gifts, these different talents. Even in scripture it says, what did you do with your talent? One had 5, the other had 10. The one with 10 came back with 20. The one with 5 came back with 10. And the one with 1 buried his talent, right? And then said that I knew you were a harsh taskmaster, so I buried your talent to give you back what is rightfully yours. And he got in trouble, and he said, you should have at least stuck it in the bank so I could get usury for it. So these gifts that we have, these talents, you can call them a talent. One will have 1 will have 5, one will have 10. Based on the passion of your heart, you're the only one that can gauge how many that you operate in. It's up to you. Completely up to you. Some people may not want to prophesy and see things. I tell you what, I have not exactly found it to be a walk in the park. I've a lot of times said, why this one? Why? Why me? I don't really care for this one that much. But it is what it is. But it's what you do with it. So with that talent, my husband went and seen his father, and I've been able to make good critical decisions that are healthy for the family, and keep our heads above water and keep us moving forward. It's how you use what you're given. So, and we all have them.
Well,
and
I think that you're probably not giving yourself nearly enough credit. I'm sure you make lots of great decisions that you don't even realize you're making, and it sounds to me like you for you to even have any type of self-image where you think that that's possible that you don't, you're not giving yourself enough credit. I'm sure you make plenty of. I'm sure almost every decision you make is very sound and well thought out, and need not be questioned or second guessed. Only by you, or you're probably the person who is second guessing yourself more than anybody else is.
We're our own worst enemy. We are the biggest doubters. We are our own stumbling block. Not only can other people so doubt, but we do it to ourselves. And we do need to stop doing that. But I'll tell you, I had a beautiful home in Oklahoma. I got hit by the drunk driver and broke my neck and back, but I wasn't in any position of losing my home or anything. Me and the kids were fine when that layoff happened and my husband got transferred. We took a big gamble coming out here, because we couldn't. It was, goodness gracious, it was 2009. So right after the big housing crash, we got transferred out here. So you couldn't get rid of the house. Nobody would want to buy it, or they wanted to undercut it so much that I would be paying them to buy my home.
You couldn't get what the paper wanted for it.
Yeah, I got it cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they even wanted to undercut that. I just sold it for what I paid for it, plus the improvements I put on it. It was a give me. Well, I lived there. I got to benefit from the improvements, so I'll sell it to you for what I bought it for. No, they wanted to undercut. So we ended up having to hold on to that sucker for almost 2 years. But, coming out here and relocating the family and our lives and all my friends that I had out there and everything, it's hard. It's hard. Those are hard decisions. But, with the, with the foresight of where we were going to go, where this was going to take us, even though we had all those hurdles to jump, I knew it was going to work out. So I went for it. So it does benefit in that regard. It does benefit in the decision making when you can kind of get a little heads up. Hey, you want to put the phone number up so we can take some calls? You did the research on the dreams and on the science side of it. Is that right? Because this was your topic.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I had a couple articles I looked up.
Yeah, that's
it
what
was more
I
so
thought.
directly related to how dreams have been affected um, by the quarantine. Basically, a lot of people are getting more REM sleep than they typically can get because they are, instead of going to work or school or whatever, the busy rat race they're accustomed to, they're actually getting to bed at a decent hour or sleeping in to a decent hour and getting that REM sleep, which is causing them to have more lucid dreams that they can actually remember. So people are online sharing dreams that haven't been able to remember or experience dreams for a long time.
Yeah,
It's kind of a
this is kind of odd.
phenomenon that's came, yeah,
Shortly
that's
after I had,
created by the. Uh,
sorry about that, Saggy.
go ahead.
Shortly
No,
after
you go ahead.
stop it. Shortly after I had that Trump dream, when I woke up and told my husband, we just laughed and laughed and laughed because we thought that was hilarious. That you're fired is going to be president. What? And this was he made me write that one down. I'm not good about writing down my dreams. I'm just not. Sometimes it's better not to write them down, to be quite honest.
Who, who would have thought that a reality TV show star would become president and that our government would become a reality TV show?
Oh, I know. Well, so I had that dream. He made me write it down. Well, that was January of 15. That's when he just rose his hand on the elevator, just like on The Simpsons, and there were 17 other politicians against him, and it moved on from there. All right. After that dream, I have another dream. Actually, I did share it. It's up in a few places, but what it was is, okay, this is gonna strike you as odd, but sometimes these dreams are stranger than fiction. I saw helicopters, like military helicopters, and how I described it is like SWAT. And these men were coming down with, black garb, military black garb, okay? And all these people were laying on the ground face down. And I was walking on this narrow path, and at the point when I was looking at, I'm talking thousands and thousands of people just lined up, laying on the ground face down as these people were jumping down, but they never did anything to these people. Well, I'm walking through and I'm like, are these people dead? And right when I was thinking that, they started to peek up. So I'm like, okay, they're not dead. What the heck are you guys all doing laying on the ground face down? Get up. What are you doing? And then I woke up, which kind of reminds me of a military simulation that's now spilled into real world events, and people just are not looking. They're not wanting to peek their head up. Some are, but others are not ready to take their eyes off the ground. You tell me to lay down on the ground, I'm going to lay down on the ground. They're not dead. They're just laying down on the ground, not looking around. Where there's a lot of people that are looking around and finding out, how many people actually have this? How many people, what is this exactly? What's going to come, from this? And I was like, well, that dream did come after the Trump dream. So for it to coincide with his presidency doesn't surprise me. There's more detail to it, but that's about, that's enough to share to get the point across. But everybody,
Oh, yeah.
I do want to express though that everybody was okay. Everybody was alive. Just some didn't want to look around and see what was going on. That was the only difference between the people.
Right. Now, it would be interesting to find out. Obviously, it was a dream, so it's open to interpretation. But in my mind, I can't help but think that the people that were laying down, those are the people who watch too much mainstream media.
Yeah, and they're not wanting to actually look at the facts.
Yeah.
Talk to their
Yeah,
doctor
they're scared. They got all that fear in them from staring at CNN all day, and they're afraid to look out the window and to see what's going on in their own front yard because of what they saw on the TV.
It's crazy. It's just crazy. You guys, the phones are open, and we're talking about dreams, visions, whether the dreams are lucid, prophetic, symbolic, out of body experience, astral travel, or anything that you've got going on with you that you want to share and with everybody, because everything is safe here. Everything is good. Everything is welcome. No labels, no stigma. Nothing but the utmost respect, because we learn from each other. We definitely learn from each other, and people that go through things can teach us how to go through things in an easier manner than yeah. Because in 2000, that was one thing my daughter talked about, was there was nobody talking about this stuff when this all started happening with me. Nobody. So I didn't have anyone to lean on or to ask, what the heck is this? Back in 2000, I was like, doctors, night terrors. Of course, that's what they're going to say. And big.
Well, I was looking at an article here by a lady named Sarah James on medium.com, and she's specifically writing about corona dreams during the corona, and she's reaching out to people to come and share their dreams with her. And one of the things she mentions is dream programming. Language and visual stimuli are dream programming, and right now our attention is, for the most part, directed towards a more narrow field of information than usual. You had mentioned earlier that you were on a narrow path. That's why I kind of thought that was interesting. Infection, death, and imprisonment, and Tiger King. We are seeing.
Thanks.
We are seeing those we cannot see in real life more vividly in our dreams. Our anxieties about infection are rising to the surface. The invisible threat becomes visible in dream realms. COVID-19 manifesting as a tangible enemy, a monster, loose tigers, creeping slime. We try to make sense in our dreams to recalibrate with this new reality forced upon us. Dream corona, an ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs meant she who overwhelms, but I couldn't see the signs in the words. I thought of Sekhmet desiring the blood of her enemies and being duped with rye beer. The 5 days of plague and pestilence are upon us, but they always pass. I have had two different dreams on different days where a card, different games, one puzzling building and the other one more of a trick-taking game. It revolves around the COVID-19 The first was about attacking the virus, and the other about avoiding it. Old Maid, maybe, I'm not sure. However, both games were novel or novelle, not at all like any games I have played. Novel coronavirus. The first one also featured heavily that pearls were key to fighting the virus. Excuse me. With all of this being, all of this is, obscure because we're talking about dreams. And then it goes on to say, I have been sent to interview a David Koresh type religious leader in a big, very rundown villa type complex. We were doing the interview in a courtyard with a broken fountain in it. One of my questions upset him, and the atmosphere turned a bit threatening. I needed to get out, but I needed to get my elderly grandma out as well, and there was nobody to help. And all of these are just different, um, like dreams that have been submitted, by different people to
Yeah, like if you see a tidal wave coming at you, it just means, you're going to get overwhelmed. Something very overwhelming is going to take you away. Lose your footing, for a moment, or I understand some symbology in dreams. Some of them, though, are just straight up what you see. It's going to happen. It's not going to happen exactly how you see it, but it's going to happen in a similar form.
Oh yeah, and then you know what? I can even experience a daydream that feels like a real dream. Like I can just get lost in my own imagination, is what I'm trying to say. And they say that the average person daydreams between 70 to 120 minutes of their waking day.
Really?
Do you think that number is too high, or do you think it's pretty accurate?
You said 70% of their day?
No, 70 to 120 minutes. So just
Oh,
over
okay. Oh, that's not bad.
between just over an hour and 2 hours per day.
Yeah, well, you know what? If you take a nap, let's say you take a 30-minute nap, you're not really going into REM, so you may have what you would call a daydream. So I could see
Right.
where, yeah, that could add up really quick. And sometimes you sit at
Yeah.
your desk and take a breath and you just kind of daze out. So, yeah. Yeah, I can say, yeah, that sounds
They're
about right.
defining, yeah, they're defining daydream as you're semi-awake, clearly not asleep, but not fully checked in with reality either.
Right. I mean, if you lay down to take a 30-minute nap, that's not long enough to go into deep sleep. You just kind of actually just rest your body, and then you don't completely, go into a deep REM sleep. You just kind of are in a limbotic state, and then you get up again. A little more rested. You feel a little better. But, like us moms, we would come home from work and we'd be like, okay, we just want to lay down 30 minutes and then we'll cook supper. Not long enough for us to crash out and not get back up, but just long enough, to repower the engines a little bit. So, yeah, I could see
Yeah,
70 minutes. 70 to 90, is that what you said? Or 70 to 120?
Yeah,
Yeah, I could see that.
and it says a lot of times a daydream starts with just a compelling thought, a memory or a fantasy, and your imagination runs away with it. The longer you daydream, the deeper you become immersed in your private fantasy land. It's been suggested that people who daydream a lot find it easier to lucid dream. That's because daydreaming is like practicing lucid dreaming while you're awake, observing imagery in your mind's eye and directing the course of your fantasy. In fact, visualization is one of the tenets of the lucid dreaming practice.
Here's
And
an
it says
interesting
here
thing
also,
that Brenda said in the chat. She was saying it to Ded, but I want to bring this up so we can talk about it. She said it's
yeah, I
really
want to hear it.
strange. It's really strange. The virus situation seems like there's two different realities going on. And then he answered her and he said, yes, it's a real thing happening from my perspective. But I get skepticism. I get the skepticism. SMQ, where is SMQ? I haven't seen him in forever. Had talked of a possible quantum virus once, trying to remember. And yeah, okay, instead of talking in the quantum, which I know we are well aware of the quantum and shifting and the parallels, and it does seem like there are two completely separate paradigms right now going on. Sometimes we can cross over, but we don't stay long. We cross right back over to our side very quickly. It's not comfortable there for us. We don't resonate with that. We're not comfortable, so we'll move back to our side of the fence, so to speak, and they can stay on their side of the fence. But I'm going to go into the electric universe, how everything is charged with energy. Everything is energy. Nothing exists without energy, which is also a true statement. So we got energy, frequency, and vibration. So with those ingredients, you have life, you have movement, you have growth, you have, manifestation. Energy is a neutral force. It will only go in the direction that it is sent by the sender. And then it can always be brought back again to a neutral way, or given a hug and a kiss and sent out on a new mission. So I know that he's been doing research on electric universe, and I want to hear more about that. I have not put out a theory video on electric universe because I am waiting on his information before I go ahead and put that theory out there, or that hypothesis out there, like the quantum cube. Oh, by the way, did I tell you, not quantum cube, hypercube. I can't call it hypercube anymore. There is actually a movie that is called Hypercube.
Oh, okay. So they've trademarked it ahead of time. They took it from you. So we're going with quantum cube.
I don't know what
I
we're
like
gonna
that
go with. Well, it's more like a loop. I mean, I don't even. It's not. It was never meant to be like box shaped, but it was easy to visualize a Rubik's cube. And then as you're moving around this Rubik's cube, it is also extending out in all directions with more blocks, and so it can go on infinitely. So that was just a good way of explaining it. But it's more like loops. It's like, intertwining. You're in the center circle, and then you've got, your family, you've got extended family, you got friends, you got people you work with, you got neighbors, you got, and all these people are intertwined with you, and what you do affects them. Well, they're their own circle in the center, and then what you do that would affect them could affect them to the point where they're affecting their loop, and that loop also goes up, down, north, south, east, west, and on the verticals, horizontals, and diagonals in every direction. So I know I need to do a drawing, but it would really need to be done in a three-dimensional type of a replica to get the idea across. I mean, I know a Rubik's Cube is 3D, but it needs to be more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like thinking like a double helix mixed with an infinity spiral.
Kinda. It could be. What's interesting is I sent my friends some videos, because whenever I see something amazing, and see, I've got my new phone. Finally, I got a new phone. So I can actually take images now and little videos from my phone. They turn out pretty darn good for me not being able to see what I'm actually filming. Because when you're outside in the sun and you're going towards the sun, we all know we can't see what we're filming. We're just hoping we're pointing in the right direction. but they came out pretty decent. So I sent him on over for him to. I hope whoever's buzzing you doesn't knock you off the air. Tell Hebrew to knock it off. So anyway, so I am able to take amazing sky footage now, and I'm gonna send it to my awesome sky watchers. I love my sky watchers because it reflects around the outside of them, what's going on within them. I don't expect my skies to be perfect right now. I'm still going through a grieving healing process, but they were pretty awesome. Whenever if this person decides to present, I'll share the link. I actually have some playlists of some Skywatchers on my homepage. I invite you all to check out if you're interested. I've got a playlist that's just called Skywatchers, and then I have a separate playlist that's called Dead GPK. Now, some of Dead GPK stuff is vocal, but most of it is skywatching, and they're all phenomenal. You've been getting
It sounds like it.
sleepy.
Like you had me at sky watching.
Oh man, I'll tell you the captures that they get they're
There's
breathtaking.
never been a better time than now. With all this all these airports shut down. People are, it seems like the skies are a lot clearer than ever. Especially with industry shut down, there's a lot less smog and haze in the atmosphere as well.
Well, my skies were pretty busy today. They were pretty busy
Travel,
today. And you're right.
Do you mean air?
Huh?
Are you referring to air travel?
No, I'm talking about with the frequency wispy, just these anomalies going on. But it
The thing
had
you can
been clear.
observe. Yeah, okay, now I understand. So you're actually seeing a lot of anomalies.
Oh yeah, they're amazing. Oh, you guys,
They're saying
let me
because
know
of
if the
paranormal
background is making you
activity.
dizzy. If it's making you dizzy, I will be happy to change it. I don't want people to get dizzy. I want you guys to be able to see the phone number. Is it big enough for you guys to see it? Because I want some people to call and share. We're doing this every
They're
Wednesday.
saying they're saying paranormal activity in general has been on the rise. I mean, that there's been the record number of Bigfoot sightings, record number of UFO sightings, even Loch Ness monster, old Nessie's been seen more often than usual lately. A lot of more people are reporting lucid dreams and intense dreaming. I mean, you name it. If there's a paranormal activity, if there really was a Ghostbusters, their phone would be ringing off the hook right now.
You're funny. That's what I think happened with my daughter. I think she got pulled so fast that she was standing on the corner not knowing what the heck just happened to her. I mean, for crying out loud, it was a 73 or I'm sorry, it was a 68-foot debris trail. And the car came to rest an additional 10 to 15 foot to the east and then went to the south off the road about 10 to 12 feet. So I've been hit. When I got hit by a drunk driver, I got hit at 55 mile an hour. And I didn't go more than 10 foot. Now, granted, I hit my brakes. Now, the guy that was driving the car my daughter was in, his brakes were fully compressed. Plus, he pulled the e-brake and locked up all four tires trying to control his vehicle. Sorry about my dogs, guys. But yeah, I mean that when you are here and then boom, you're gone, and there's nothing in between. Like you aren't even expecting it. I wonder what happens. Do you get a little bit of a lost feeling for a second until you can get the concept of what just happened to you?
Yeah, it's something that that quick, like an instant. It's hard to say. I mean, it's like they say a lot of times, that you're like, how does it say? My life flashed before my eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, do you actually experience? I mean, there's if in an instant, there's no time for that unless you know. It's hard to say. I mean, it really is hard to say.
Well,
It really. I mean, there's so many. I always, you always see in the movies how there's the person's kind of like in that limbo state when they first pass away, and they actually see themselves come up out of their body, and then they go toward a proverbial light, so to speak, to get to the afterlife, for lack of a better word. I mean, this is how our brains rationalize it, but who's to say it's this way, that way, or any other kind of way? The thing you really want to just focus on and take solace in is the fact that the loved one, whoever it is, in this case your daughter, is at peace. That they've found their way to some way, in some way, shape, or form. They found themselves to a peaceful state, whatever that is. You know what I'm saying?
right, right. Um, you know what? In the honor and commemoration of Mr. John Benny, who, if anybody's watched any of my videos and it has music in the background, it is coming from Mr. John Benny himself. I'm going to go ahead and turn up his
So do we have a call?
music. No, we don't have a caller, so we're going to take a little break, and I'm going to let me find you, John. Let's get some good vibes going in the house. If I can, oh, there you are. Tell me if you guys can hear it. And a moment of silence as we get good vibration.
I want to give you a heads up. I got like all of a sudden some
Hey,
thunderstorms
the only way
popping
you
up.
can talk right now is if you can hear the music and you are singing the rhythm, and you're singing to it. You have to sing along with the music. And I know you can't hear it.
I can't. But
I'm just giving you a hard time. But we are listening to some John Benny. And guys, his channel is just like it's spelled on, here in the chat, JONBINNIE. And whenever I use his music, you will always see at the end of my posts his name. Just type it in the search. You'll find him easily. He's awesome. He's absolutely amazing. He puts out a new high vibe song every day. Every day. Okay. As you were saying, Saji.
I just had some thunderstorms roll through out of
Did you?
nowhere. In case I was to get disconnected or something, just thought I'd give you a heads up.
If you got disconnected, I'd come hunt you down.
Well,
I'm kidding.
I'll give you my address. You're welcome to come hunt me down anytime.
No, I was really worried about you last week. I really was. I was like, no, 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 no. And what happened last night? You guys just, what, poop out or something?
Yeah, yeah. He just didn't want to go live last night. He didn't have. He just really was feeling burned out. He said.
He said, he mentioned something about, he did some live stream like for 8 hours and YouTube took it down.
He wanted to do an 8 hour live stream of cat videos, but he was going to mirror it off of a different YouTube channel. and I guess they shut it down. They weren't going to let him do it. Like cats playing or random cat videos.
Yeah.
I have no idea. It's just something he came up with. It was something he came up with on his own. I have no idea what inspired such thoughts.
Well, were they his?
No, you just wanted to. I know how preposterous it sounds, but he really wanted to just do an 8-hour live stream of
His cat?
cat videos.
Wait a
No,
minute.
like,
Wait. You can't do that. You cannot go and take somebody else's creative content and put it on your page. You have to have permission.
Right.
You can't do that. They'll copyright him and they'll remove his stream. He'll be lucky if he can live stream. Goofy.
Yeah, I know. He seems he. I haven't really had a chance to talk to him about it, but I think he's under the impression that it is okay. So I need to.
No. Not unless he's
to,
got the cat person on his show as a guest and they're bringing it up and sharing it.
Or maybe if you had some like old, VHS tapes from, the low budget rental place that, back when
Still
Blockbuster was
copyrighted. It's copyrighted.
Yeah, but that, it might, there might be like an out of, production studio that is no longer enforcing their copyrights, maybe.
You know why it feels high vibe, John? You are overlooking the Rainbow Waterfall Park. This was the waterfall that had, what was it, 180 feet of a cascade. Now, I couldn't get in a good position to capture the entire thing and show it to you guys, but I was able to capture it where I could get the rainbow and the water falling, and share this much with you. And you know what? Things like this, you guys all know I love water. I didn't go swimming for over a year, but now you can't stop me. I'm like every other day or every couple days I'm like, honey, I'm gonna heat the pool or I'm gonna heat the hot tub and you want to come in? Oh no, oh okay. He doesn't gripe about me heating it up just for me to get in, and I think that's nice. He doesn't ever give me a hard time, but yeah. What do you got going on over there, Saggy? I'm coming in here to check on you.
I'm actually watching what you're watching now. I decided to go to the YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah, mute it, hun.
I did.
Can you see inside the Uber conference room?
Not at the same time. Do you want me to go back there?
No, but I just wanted to know, like when you were in with calling, you couldn't see. But I wanted to see if you could see.
When I'm in here, I just see, I guess, your camera.
You just see me, my little card, and your card.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I see my card. Yeah.
Good. Then that is a better way for you to come in. Hey, John, why don't you call? I think, you can computer dial, and it's free. Just put a 1 in front of the 720, and then that's the pin, and you'll be in. Because you are such a high vibe person. You're just amazing. Everybody that I met at ESETI are... Huh?
Sorry, I said that's the thing about live call-in shows is they kind of need people to
call in. Call in. But, it'll just take, like I said, I've been so, out of the picture for, a while. And it's just going to take a while for people to start getting back into the rhythm of things and for me to set the rhythm so they know when it's going to be coming on, what we're going to be doing, what activities and stuff, and so they can participate. and they can plan on it. They can know that it's going to be there for
Yep, and
them.
we want to start doing this every Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
True. Yes. That doesn't mean I won't do other live streams with guests and things like that. But the call-in show, I want it to be set on Wednesday night. And as the summer's rolling in, it's getting hotter. So I'm sorry that it's later, but it would either be super early in the morning or later in the evening. So you guys tell me what you prefer, super early in the morning or later in the evening.
So, you know how we were talking earlier about how it seems like there's two separate realities going on right now? As far as the way people are seeing this
Yes.
whole corona thing.
Yes.
I think it's no longer like the thing that I'm really the most concerned with at this point. Not that, and I'm not trying to say that the virus itself isn't important, but that's not where my main concern lies. My main concern going forward now is what, if anything, is going to be different. What is the new? Is there a new normal? And if so, how can we mitigate a lesser amount of new normal? Because it seems like there's two camps. There's one pushing a lot of drastic changes, and a lot of and the changes that they're proposing, I wouldn't call progress in the state of our liberties and freedoms, but I would call it the opposite. I think that there's my concern is our liberties and freedoms and how much they're going to be infringed upon in the name of in the name of security and safety. I mean, how long are people going to continue to self isolate? How long are people going to continue to wear masks? How long are people going to continue to feel unsafe to go sit in a restaurant, a sporting event, a concert? Those are the kind of things that I'm most concerned with now. Is how are we going to get certain people to go back to understanding that nothing has really changed unless we allow it to change, unless we are going to let the fear win. Am I making sense here?
Yes. Sorry, I was approving some.
No,
You guys
I realize
swapping
sometimes
emails and things like that is okay. Swapping channels is okay. Everything's cool
I
in the
just
chat.
yeah, I get on a tangent and
Oh, you're
trying to
fine.
check myself.
You're fine. If you weren't such a nerd, no, I'm just kidding. A critical thinker and a researcher, you came up with the topic for this. This basically is a show that I actually, have something to share in it. But this show was your idea. You had actually posted a bunch of research that you wanted to talk about and go through on it, but then you got sick. So, things happen. And so I don't know if you still have that research or, remember that research. I gazed over a few of them.
Yeah, I still have it right here.
And we're
Can
gonna
you hear me?
have John. Yeah, we're gonna have John Binney on as a guest. We will get that lined out in TikTok time, and I'll put out an announcement. Speaking of announcements, oh my gosh, you guys! You know how YouTube has just messed with me and messed with me and messed with me. I mean, like forever messing with my numbers and my subscribers and you name it. They mess with me. No notifications. Blah blah blah. Well, okay, I'm going to play something real quick, Saggy, so, because now YouTube is emailing me and giving me all this good stuff. Not only are they letting me self-certify because they've kicked back so many of my videos that actually when they manually reviewed, they decided, oh, wait, There's no profanity in here. There's no ugliness. There's no hate speech. There's no. Wait, okay, sorry. Well, everybody knows within the first 2 days people have done watched your video and moved on. And it takes at least 2 or 3 days for them to do that. So now they let me self-certify. So they decided that more of mine, I think I've only had one that came back that they didn't really like. And it was about, I think it was about energy vampires or something like that. I don't know, maybe they didn't like the word vampire. But let me share this announcement with you guys. Oh my gosh. And remember, no obligation ever for anything. You know, anything is appreciated, but no obligation. But I'm just shocked that they sent me this email and allowed me to set this up for you guys. So let me play that real quick. I'm going to mute me and Saji. Guys, you just open up the channel membership platform. So you will get special emojis and when to your name. Also, you will have access to things depending on your membership you choose. Do the one that fits your budget the best. Never overextend. I'm looking forward to know on a personal level on one. This is awesome. I cannot
I
wait.
hear you.
Love you guys so much. Peace. Oh, geez. And we're back. So what do you guys think? You think that they're like giving me a noose and allowing me to jump into it? I don't know. But I thought it was pretty cool, so I set up some uh, emojis and wings and just some cute things and yeah, pretty cool. Whatever. I mean, I'll try anything once. If it doesn't work, then I'll just stop it. And they did say we can quit at any time, and then it would release everybody from whatever was going on with it. So let's say if I left my channel or quit my channel or something happened, and I took it down, you would not be continuously charged for if I'm not here. I don't know why, but mine keeps falling behind. Falling behind. Yes, they are. They are sneaky Pete's. I'm telling you, they have done so much to me over these past few years. It's like, I don't know whether to believe them or not. I'm scared. But then you got people, like Hero that wants to put up somebody else's cat videos all day long. Saji.
Hey, don't shoot the messenger.
He told me that, but I thought maybe he was gonna video his own cat all day or something.
No.
There are some pretty funny animal videos out there. There really are. Okay, back to our topic. Did we go through all of your research and your articles that you wanted to share? I know that we shifted gears to paradigms. We can continue with that or go back to your dream research.
No, I can definitely bring up one of these. I got 3 different ones here. Bear with me. I think
And remember, guys, you could call anytime.
I think the one that I found the most interesting was the one that was wrote up on the neuroscience section of Wired .co.uk. Wired magazine's kind of like it's more known for its tech articles, really, so they're putting
Right.
it under neuroscience. And make a long story short, um, there's a Twitter account called at I Dream of COVID-19, and it's basically uh, uh, they're creating a thread or a collection of people's coronavirus dreams, and you actually can do a Google search for COVID-19 dreams or coronavirus dreams. There's been a considerable spike worldwide, not just here in the U.S. but across the whole world, and apparently, along with dreams, nightmares are also on an upward trajectory. On subreddit, people are discussing their dreams a lot more. I mean, it just seems like it's really, ever since the whole lockdown, quote unquote, thing has begun, um, it's really kind of a phenomenon that is actually taking place, everywhere, not just here, or in the United States. So,
Do you think,
uh,
are they good dreams? Are they like, are they are they getting their creativity back? Are they off that hamster wheel long enough to
you've
interest
got
them?
a mixed gambit. You got everything from positive, uplifting dreams to nightmares, because a lot of people are watching way too much news and letting that fear set in. I mean, I know it's one of those things where I don't know how to explain it, but like when you once you kind of get that fear inside you, it kind of like
It will
snowball effects.
manifest.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and so it will definitely show up in your dreams. So, but the important thing to take note of here is people are actually getting online, sharing the experiences with each other, and finding some type of strength and unity. So that's a good thing. That's the good thing to take away from this.
Yes, and we have this platform where we can all gather, and we've known about it for years. It's not something new to us, so we know where to go. So we're never alone. We're never alone. And I was saying earlier, there was a group of people that I met at the East City Ranch. You can't take that away from me now. Those people I have met in person, and I have a piece of their heart, and they have a piece of my heart, always. So they not only were my online people, but now they're my real life people, and they're beautiful people. They're just full of love, and just they're amazing people, and now they've spilled into my reality, and they're a part of it. So we can't take everything. When you are in fear, you're going to manifest fear. And if you're worried about this virus, you're going to manifest this virus. You're going to come up with symptoms because you're focusing only on it. So you'll be like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So what we've heard and what we're seeing is that the actual numbers are less than the common flu that comes around annually. And that, my friends, is good news. What I'm waiting to see, as our faithful leader, he wanted to open the country up before Easter. Well, what I'm interested to see is once everything is back going, and everything is, everybody's out of their house and trying to, get back to work, doing their thing. When people are then with each other and they start asking each other, well, I didn't know anybody that had it. Did you? And then you may find somebody that says, well, I knew one person, but, they were elderly and they also had cancer, or, what is going to happen when people start to ask these hard questions and get the answers, and then it starts to ripple out, And then what are they going to do? They're going to look at the government and they're going to say, why the hell did you do this to us?
You know,
Why?
it's funny you say that because I used to say the same thing you're saying about September 11th, about Building 7, about the
Oh, pull
Pentagon.
it.
People are people are going to, start talking to each other, and they're going to ask, well, how did that happen? But it never happened. People never did. They, you know what? As much as I'd like to believe people are going to
Well, you're
get
talking
back
about something
together and
that's
have these,
centralized, though.
yeah, and have these conversations, I really don't know. I don't know for sure that they will. But the people, I think there's some people who would still, for the rest of their life, will keep their head in the proverbial sand, and they're not going to, like an ostrich, they're not going to ever take their head out and want to really know what really happened.
I don't know. I would ask.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. We're assuming that the rest of the population is a truth seeker like we are. As much as I think that we're kind of kidding ourselves though, because there's so many people out there who really just don't pay attention. They're never going to get up off the ground and look up
And
and look
dance.
around and yeah.
They're going to be the ones
The other,
facing down while the other ones are
yeah.
peeking around. But
But I don't mean to juxtapose, but what I was talking about before, as far as the dreaming and whatnot,
mm-hmm.
the article goes on to say there's a famous phrase that there's nothing more boring than listening to someone's dream. He says with a
What?
chuckle. But we have evidence that
Not
when people
true.
discuss dreams, a lot of times it can be like, I'm not saying it's
It
I
depends.
actually like to hear dreams, but you do find a lot of times when you approach somebody randomly out of the blue, hey, I had the weirdest dream last night. Can I tell you about it? They're going to say, sure, go ahead, but they're immediately already thinking of something else, and they're only giving you half of their attention. There really are people like that, but I digress, and let me go on and say. Um, we have evidence that when people discuss dreams, the one who's listening becomes more empathetic toward the person who's sharing the dream. They start to understand, excuse me, they start to understand uh, the emotions and the life circumstances of the other person. He suggests that with more people cooped up inside with each other, as well as retreating to chat apps and forums, there's an increased opportunity for this quote unquote dream sharing to happen. And he believes one of the results could be a greater level of empathy occurring between people. This point feels particularly relevant to the ongoing pandemic. Excuse me a second. I don't know why my throat is so dry.
Which could be why there's such a divide. Some are having the dreams of fear, like you were saying, and some are
Hmm.
having dreams of creativity and liberation.
Yes. And it says by now, experts are in broad agreement that social distancing measures represent the most effective response. But getting people to adhere to these conditions hasn't proven easy. One reason for the UK government's stuttered introduction of the current lockdown was that experts didn't believe that people in Britain would do as they are told. The invisibility of the threat makes it difficult to comprehend
Of
the real
course.
impact of staying home.
All right. First we had, uh, well, okay. First it was Russia, Russia, Russia. Okay. And then it was terrorists, terrorists, terrorists. Hiding in rocks, hiding in caves. They're going to blow us up. They're going to kill us. So we're searching around in these caves and rocks. All right. Now it's an invisible terrorist. It's invisible. And we're supposed to be at war with this thing? Come on. You got to listen to the logic of what they're trying, even what they're spewing out in this article. I know you see it. you're a sharp guy. You can see the rhetoric and the propaganda that they're putting out, even in that article.
Oh yeah, it's all psyop. It's all. It is all. It is a live exercise. That
And
is what.
one thing that, okay, when you're a dreamer, when I wake up and I've had a dream, and I tell my husband, I said, "Oh boy, I've had a dream." He sits down immediately, wanting to hear every detail because of the history. We got almost 20 years, or we've got 20 years under our belt here, so there's significance to these. Now, like I said, I didn't want to be right. I don't want to be right. I do not want to be right on, some of these things I see. But the biggest one I didn't want to be right on, I ended up being right. So, with that said, when other people share their dreams, you can tell by what they're saying whether it's a symbolic dream or they're stepping into prophecy or prophetic. They're seeing the journey, the path. The path is lighting up before them, and then they are taking that path because there's a difference in what they see, what they say, what they experience, what they feel, than in a dream that is symbolic and where you're seeing certain things that mean something else. Like I mentioned earlier, you're seeing a tidal wave coming at you, but you can't speak, you can't move, you can't fly. You're not, you just have to stand there and let this thing float over you. Well, it just means that something's going to come in, and it's going to seem like it's the world, and you're just going to feel like you're getting knocked up off your feet, when it's going to wash back and recede. So, it's going to come in like a flood, but it will recede, kind of like a whirlwind passing over. So those are symbolic. But a lot of times when you're dealing with the prophetic side, or with vivid dreams or astral travel, and seeing these different places and what's going on in different areas of the world, or whatever you're doing, you will actually become so lucid in them that you can lift off the ground, you can fly, you can glide, you can skate, you can speak, you can get above the situation and look down and watch the character that you were just in and watch the situation play out. And if it's something that's going to come to pass for you in the future, you just experienced that situation that could have taken a hard left on you. And now, since you already got it, you've seen it, and you've seen by this response that was the outcome, that you're going to make a different choice. So then you make that soft right. So, when you are able to discern the difference in the dreams and the phenomena that is going on within you, you can help others with what they're sharing, and you get an intimate knowledge of what's going on within them. Just like I said about the sky watchers, and when they're taking these beautiful images as a reflection of what's going on inside them, around them. I'm not saying they're not dreamers, or because I think everybody can have everything, whatever you want. You can have the 1 talent, you can have the 5, you can have the 10. It's up to you. It's up to you, and then you can double them. But yeah, if somebody's sharing a dream with you, if you can resonate with it, you can understand and go on the journey with them as they're telling you their dream. Yes, you will empathize with them, you will see the dream, and you will be able to give an interpretation. Now, what you'll find out is your interpretation that you give them may guide them, but the dreamer is the one who will ultimately interpret the dream. So, we can guide them and by what resonates, and that can be very helpful, sometimes very spot on. But like I said, it's up to the dreamer. You could tell them something so off base from what they actually dreamt and what they were feeling, during the dream that it's like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? That's not resonating with me at all. You know what I mean? And that's how you can discern whether somebody is able to interpret or be empathetic to what's going on in your heart and in your inner being. And you know,
Yeah, I would have to admit, even so, especially with my dreams, they're not always so cut and dry as to that you can explain them in words. I mean, a lot of times there's a lot of there's so there's so there's so much wrapped up in some symbolism and like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost like a telepathy type thing is happening where you're getting information, but it's not always like in the normal sense of you're hearing it or seeing it or experiencing it like you do in a 3D reality. Sometimes in your dreams, you hear and you see kind of like with I guess a third eye. I guess is what I'm trying to say, where you're actually getting input that's on a higher level than just hear, um, sight, taste, and touch. Does that? It's more of like a inferred, and it's in code, and the only way you can decipher it is the reflection. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah, very good. And you know, they also did scientific studies on people that would they go into meditation and pray in what is in the Bible that is called tongues. Some would call it praying in the spirit. And what they found when they put those electrodes and stuff on them, that a different part of the brain altogether lit up, and that these people were so calm and so at peace that it confounded the scientists. They couldn't comprehend how that area of the brain lit up, and that these people, while stimulating and having that part of their brain, I mean, they're basically more of their brain lit up, more activity was going on. At the same time, they were at such a calm, peaceful state. Maybe that's something we could look up for next week or something, because there's a lot of science that falls behind even that phenomenon.
Okay.
It's pretty awesome. But we cannot leave without at least one caller. Come on. Be brave. It's been 93 minutes. I don't want to go over 2 hours, so. Well, Hebreo's in there, and whenever Hebrew tells us to call in, what do, Saggy? We call.
Oh yeah, that's it.
That's it. Oh yeah, that's it. Well, it's reverting because of Saggy's setup. But hey, this is better than what we had last time, I think. What do you think, Saggy?
Yeah, I like this much better. I can put it on speaker. I don't have to hold it up to my ear the whole time we're doing the show.
You need some earbuds, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
Because that's where the reverb is coming from, is the echo back on the speaker.
Yeah, and I apologize for that.
It's all right. Just ruin my show. It's okay.
All right, anytime.
Well, I think you can get some very inexpensive earbuds for what, $5 or $10?
Yeah.
Are they essential? Wait, are they essential?
Yeah, no. Are they in the non-essential aisle?
Oh my gosh. I don't know if anybody watched Brian Staveley's Walmart video when he put that, he reached through the toys. Toys are non-essential, guys. What our children want to play with to entertain themselves is non-essential. But he put on this goofy looking pink hat that had like a mohawk on top of it. Very girly, all right? It looked too small for his head, so it kind of like sat atop his head. And he ran around Walmart with no mask, staring down all these people wearing masks. Just, oh my gosh, being Brian. I mean, it was hilarious. I don't think the man really knows how funny he looked with that helmet on. I mean, it was good. It was funny. Oh my gosh, there's the other Sky Watcher.
You know when you get a new comforter set, that plastic thing that's like a plastic square with a zipper on it that the comforter's inside?
Yeah, what?
The way that, when you buy a comforter brand new at the store.
Oh, and it's in that bag. Mm-hmm.
It's like in a plastic.
Yeah.
It's like in a clear plastic zip up container type thing.
Right.
I saw a lady wearing one of those, like, and it was it was like she was inside a TV.
Oh my gosh. She was wearing the plastic bag?
Yeah, the plastic comforter set container things. It's like clear plastic, but it holds its shape. And it's kind of squarish. Yeah.
You're kidding me. We tell our little children don't put plastic bags over their head. But a grown adult? Oh my goodness. Hey, my Skies 5D, how are you? I hope you enjoyed the earlier post. That was for you, hun. You asked about the videos that I made outside by the swimming pool. So I put together a bunch of snips for you to check out and gave you and told you where to go look so you can check those out, where the skies turn from blue to like pure white, and then some will like have like black like fractals, like the sky was fractaling out and then coming back together again. And yeah, so I hope you enjoy that. So I did that one for you, just for you, by your request. I did see that in the chat, but it was after we weren't online anymore. So I just wanted to make sure that you knew that I did read that. I wasn't ignoring you. And I'm talking to my Skies 5D. Yeah, it's beautiful here. Yeah, Oregon is beautiful. Oregon is beautiful. Are you able to see the chat, Saji?
I can. I have to go there.
Well, I just didn't know. I can read it as it's going, and
I'm here now. I see Hebrew,
Angelfish, My Skies 5D. Scrolling up. Tom. Hebrew. Hey, Hebrew. Hey, Hebrew. We need to talk. Angelfish. Preliminary. I dreamt that I had to go to get to school, and when I got up, I rushed to the shower believing that I had to be at school in 30 minutes. Oh my gosh, so your dream became like when you woke up, you thought that was really going on. Nice. Love it. John Binney. Brenda Mitchell. Dead GPK. That's about as far as I can scroll. So,
everybody be sure to hit the thumbs up button on your way in or out, whichever way you're going.
Well, yeah, of course. Can you go for about another 10 minutes and just see if anybody... Is the phone number too small? Is that what the problem is? Can you guys not see it? Normally I have it bigger.
It's 720-835-5357. The PIN number is 54583. And I think Hebrew shared it in chat as well.
Cool. Cats and a bag of cats. Hebrew, you gonna be up for a few minutes? I mean, I'm when we're done here, I'm probably just gonna be up just for a few more minutes, but we could talk to him because we don't want our fam to get in any kind of trouble ever, ever, ever. Right?
Yeah, right.
And that's the truth, the absolute truth. It's blending with the blue background. Yeah. The blue background is sky footage. But the image that you're looking at in the center is, I'll tell you again since you guys just came in the room, it is the, I went to the Rainbow Falls Park in Hawaii. And this is the waterfall that had the longest drop. I think it's a 180 foot drop. And each of these waterfalls, as you walk through this park, have intertwining or rainbows that connect into them. It's so beautiful. So of course I had to take little clips of each of them. But I can only share one at a time. They don't fit the screen right, so I have to adjust them. And if I was to make it full screen, it comes up sideways. So the water would be going across the screen. And it would just look wrong.
Everybody would have to turn their TVs on their side so they could watch it.
Or their tablets, but then I think, don't their tablets self-adjust? So it would continuously be sideways.
Yeah, the other thing would just keep fixing it back for you. That would suck.
Yes, it would. Yeah, I wanted to, I like to share some of my own backgrounds.
Yeah.
Not always created ones.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to do that, like you're watching a video on Facebook or something, and it is sideways, so you keep turning your screen, and then autocorrect turns it again, and then it's a never-ending cycle?
Yeah, that's what I was dealing with when I was trying to put in this image. It automatically came up with the waterfall going vertically.
Right.
I mean, no, horizontally. It was going horizontally, and so I had to move it and then shrink it so that way you could see the sky and the waterfall. It's really not that squatty. It's actually, it's gorgeous. I highly recommend it for anybody that, does manage to venture over. Go to the Rainbow National Park, Rainbow Waterfalls National Park. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Good night, bro. Who's going to bed?
Call in. Oh, yeah, Hebrew saying good night. Good night, Hebrew.
Okay, good night, Hebrew. But we're still going to hit you up because we want to talk to you. And you know what? I think we will call it a night. I am a little tired. I can't believe that we had no callers, but maybe they were more interested in what we were talking about. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, next Wednesday, we're going to get so many calls. We're going to be like the old woman who lived in the shoe. We'll have so many calls, we won't know what to do.
Yeah, because, most of these people, I've heard them call on other places, so I know that they have good call records, and are able to express themselves well and share, and so we can glean off of it. And that's what I'm looking forward to. So do you have anything that you want to say before I zip this up?
Nope. Sweet dreams, everybody.
You guys, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for sharing your Wednesday. We'll be here every Wednesday. It will be the call-in show. Hopefully people get the courage up to call. That's what it's about, is sharing, with one another and growing from one another's experiences, what we're expressing and sharing. There's nothing like it. You just can't beat that. I love you all. Remember always to share what you know and listen so we can all grow. And don't forget, they actually gave me membership privileges. So if you're interested in looking into that, check it out. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace. Hold on.